Why even bother? We're in Rome.
No, we're not. We're in Greece.
Welcome back to Find Gina Marie. We're in Athens, Greece, outside the Roman Agora. If you're new to our channel, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Judy. People are asking us a lot of questions about what our lives look like now that we've donated everything and sold the rest in order to travel full time. We get asked, is this a full-time vacation?
Are you retired?
Are you rich?
Are you staying in fancy hotels and eating at fancy restaurants? So every time I explain to people what we're doing, that we sold all our stuff, that we're not living in San Francisco anymore, one of the first questions is, so how long are you going to do this? And we really don't know. We're kind of in that quasi space of we want to be slow travelers, we want to be world travelers, we want to be digital nomads. We're playing it month by month.
We do know that there's an awful lot of the world that we haven't seen yet and we want to see. We aren't maybe digital nomads in the most traditional sense because we don't work remote. Right now, we don't have jobs at all. But we are trying to build up our YouTube channel. So you can consider liking and subscribing to really help the algorithm and help us to be better known.
Oh, please. This definitely isn't a full-time vacation. Our goal is not to spend money like we're on vacation or stay in fancy places like we're on vacation. The goal is to experience the cities and spend as much time in each one as we can.
In fact, in some ways, we actually don't live that much differently than when we were living in San Francisco.
If you've been watching this channel, you know initially we were looking to maybe move to Portugal and live there on a visa.
And before that, Italy, which is still where our hearts are.
But this wasn't our plan necessarily to jump and be digital nomads. It kind of came out of the effort of, should we get a visa? Should we do this? Should we do that?
We decided that there was an entire world that we haven't seen yet, and we would love to do that.
So when we arrive in a new city, we're never quite sure about what we're getting into. We've done our research. Judy's done a lot of planning and getting our lodging set up, but we just don't know what's going to happen. And so those first couple of days are really tricky when we get to a new place, mainly because the first day is a lot of travel usually, and we don't know what time of day we end up in the city. It may be dark. We may not know area around, which leads into the second hardest part about that, which is finding our Airbnb or where we've set up to stay. And then after we get settled into our Airbnb, the second day is usually trying to figure out what our surroundings are like. You know, where do we go? What do we do? How was that first night sleeping? And how's the first night getting ready in a new place?
And that's one of the really good things about being slow travelers. We can give up those couple of days and it's not the end of the world because we know that we're going to have weeks to be able to explore and really get acclimated to the new city we're in.
Yeah, it was always a problem when you're on vacation. You only have 10 days. You got to hurry up and get everything done. That's not the way we live anymore.
We typically stay in very affordable, average Airbnbs, nothing extravagant, because it's going to be the biggest expense that we incur each month. And we want to be able to use our extra money on eating out a few times and also doing tours.
So when Judy's booking an Airbnb, she goes through a checklist of things that we really need. I mean, we're doing a YouTube channel. We need internet access. We need upload speeds. We need just a space to work. But the reality doesn't always necessarily meet what our expectations are when we go into a place. So the first thing we do is check out our living space, check out our workspace, check out what's in the apartment, like kitchen area.
We always request a kitchen, but sometimes there may not be utensils or salt and pepper, basic ingredients. We always try to find those things, but their version of what they include is maybe different than what you actually need to cook.
So, I mean, we get some pretty good idea of where we're going to be sitting, where we're going to be working, but, you know, is there a living room? Is there even a TV? I mean, we don't need to watch TV, but you know, it's nice to have something like that.
If we don't, it's not the end of the world because we have the ability to watch TV from our computers. So it's nice to know what bonuses we get when we arrive.
We've also had very different experiences with lighting in a space. So it might not have a natural light coming in from the windows, and the lighting inside may be dim and dark. So if we're trying to do any recording inside the apartment, man, it can be really, really bad sometimes.
Yeah, that's really important to me, is to have some decent amount of natural light. We didn't have so much in some of the first few places, and now it's something that I know to look for.
And that's really the thing. Every time we get a space, every time we do something new in a new city, we learn one more thing. we're growing our knowledge of what to check for next time.
Here in Athens, there are several things that we like about our Airbnb. It's got great natural light. The bed is comfortable. There's a coffee pot, actually an espresso machine. The shower isn't too small. And the washing machine for clothes, which is something that we always request, actually turned out to be a dryer as well as a washer.
What a shock when we reached in there the first time after doing a load of laundry and it was dry and warm. We didn't have to find the rack to hang things out on. It was glorious.
Especially since one of the bad things about this particular place is it's very humid and nothing seems to dry.
Washcloths, towels. You get up, throw the shower in the morning, it's like, well, the towel's still damp. That's going to be fun. Now, even though the kitchen has some nice devices in a microwave, an espresso machine, teapot, coffee pot, it is a bit small. In fact, just to get the microwave open, you have to move the drying rack into the sink area because there's just not much room at all.
One of the things that I look for, because we do cook a lot, is storage containers. So if you make a big meal, you can save the leftovers. Still haven't found too many places that have something like that, but when we do, it's glorious.
And we do carry bags to use as storage containers, and they're very nice, they're very reusable. Problem is, they're not the same as having a
Tupperware. In fact, we've got them linked down below. They're great because they're washable.
As far as eating goes, we try to be economical with our eating, so we usually do a lot of shopping and cook in the apartment. But the first couple days, we don't even know where the grocery stores are, or the markets, and we generally eat out a little bit.
It's also a good excuse to find where the best coffee shops are.
We do need to find those early in the process.
Partially because this man likes more than 1 cup of coffee a day, and so there's afternoon coffee.
2 is not a crime.
No one said it is. Anything that keeps you happy.
Now, I did do better in Italy because both the apartments we had mocha pots.
In addition to coffee, we also need to make sure that there's salt and typically enough to be able to cook pasta. So not just a little salt shaker, but also pepper. And is there any kind of olive oil? Those are the kinds of things that you don't necessarily really like to have to buy at each new location, and you can't really take them with you.
Now, because we do go grocery shopping in every city, we have bags that Judy bought, and they're really nice. They pack up really small, they pop out, they hold a lot of groceries. In fact, we fill both those bags. We've done a hefty job of grocery shopping.
Saves us a little bit of money, but then also it feels more
environmental.
Yes.
Yeah.
So far, it's been really easy to find spices in one of the local open air markets. And I like to get seasoning blends that are a mix of flavorings that are local to the area that we're in. So I can get, like, these are the seasonings to make Greek food. And it feels a little bit more unique in each country or city that we're in. Outside of that, I like to make sure that I've got onions and garlic and carrots and tomatoes and bouillon, because that makes magic out of a lot of things.
The essentials to cook any meal. She cooks up some great soups and pastas and all kinds of food.
Although we're someplace for a month, we don't normally do grocery shopping for a month. We'll buy for a week at a time or a few days at a time and just kind of see how things go.
So one of the big things when we get into a new city is finding out how to navigate around the city. Sometimes cities have really good public transport, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we're in the heart of an area that is perfect for walking around. Sometimes we're at the base of a hill and have to walk up. So we like to know what's in the neighborhood, what's around. And Judy always tries to book at least one walking or bike tour so that we can find out every place that we want to go in a city without having to walk it all ourselves.
Ideally, I like to book an e-bike tour because it gives you a wide range of things to see in a short amount of time.
And if it's a hilly city, I don't want to be pushing a manual bike up and down.
And one of the luxuries is to be able to do an architectural tour, because I think that there's a lot of history that I like to learn that I probably didn't learn in high school. And just makes the city come more alive. Food tours are sometimes nice because when you're in a city, you want to go to the places that are best known for that particular food. But they can be pricey, so sometimes we skip those.
We may not be getting paid yet, but this is our job right now, is to run our YouTube channel and also Whiskey Roast, which is my other YouTube channel. So we need a space to write our scripts, to go over ideas, to think about what we're going to do next, and edit these videos. Editing can take hours. So we need to make sure that, if we have to do recording outside, we have to check the weather, make sure we know what days we're going to be able to record. And we also have to make sure that we balance the time we're spending working and stuck in the apartment just grinding on this stuff as opposed to finding out more about the city we live in.
And while Kevin is spending his time recording for Whiskey Riffs and editing for both of our channels, I'm working on blog posts and travel details and that kind of thing. So our days really fill up quite fast. So although we may be able to walk by incredible sites like this, we're also doing really mundane things like cleaning and cooking and laundry and haircuts. Kevin just got a fancy new haircut today, which is always an adventure because you have to deal with language barriers and make sure you get what you expect to get.
Exactly. Yeah, the idea is we're actually living in the place that we are traveling to. It's not like we're vacationing. We're doing the day-to-day things that you would do any day when you wake up wherever you live.
We just get to do it in really cool places.
Really cool places. One of the unique things about our travel to Athens was this was my last week at Apple when we started this trip, wrapping things up, filling out the employee goodbye forms, and basically sending my computer back to Cupertino. So it was kind of a sad and happy moment. Happy that we are free to do more things with our time. And a little sad because, it was 8.5 years of my life at Apple, and I really enjoyed that.
And I, unfortunately, was sick for the first 7 or 8 days that we were here. So it was kind of okay that we weren't doing a whole bunch of exploration.
Now, nothing serious about the sickness, just a cold.
And with Kevin's last day at Apple, it meant that we needed to get our own health insurance. So we spent a lot of time researching and finding a good travel health insurance plan. It's linked in the comments below. We chose a Cigna global policy that allows us to travel internationally and get health insurance at a pretty affordable rates.
If you're interested in finding more about our health insurance plan, let us know in the comments below.
At least one of the productive things that I did when I was sick was to spend 3 solid days working on travel. So we are booked up through mid-May, thanks to a lot of your suggestions, which we really, really appreciate. Keep them coming. And we also now need to get vaccinations for some of the places we're going. Kind of navigating all of that is
it's time consuming. It's really slow, especially when you're on the phone with insurance companies. We're time shifted too. Remember that 10 hours different from where we used to live.
You're probably not going to find us be thrill seekers on this channel. There's probably not going to be crazy bungee jumping or other extreme sports activities here. But we still have a lot of bucket list items that we are checking off.
The goal is not to have boring lives. We're living in these glorious places with these beautiful scenery, so much history. We're just learning so much every day. We don't need to go jump off a cliff just to enjoy ourselves in a place. We hope you enjoyed this look at our daily life on our nomadic travels.
If you think we've left anything out, please let us know in the comments below.
And don't forget, at findinggmarie.com, you can check out Judy's journal, which is her daily thoughts about what we're doing.
We'd love to have you follow along with us, so please consider liking and subscribing so you never miss an episode.
Thank you for joining us in our first video from Athens. Until next time.
Until next time. And with Kevin's... And with...
Who's Kevin? Damn name right, huh? Missed that window. All we gotta do was get like and subscribe. Until next time. Couldn't do it.
Let's leave this as your maybe exhibit.